Queens, New York City stands up.
My towel was like trailing behind.
A cape. It always blows my mind. I feel like this whole interview is going to be very organic and just all over the place, but there's going to be order. 1 second. I feel like I'm oily.
Like I love sniffing food and like onions.
Onions?
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
I can really do anything that I want.
It's all necessary with Tifani Sage.
All right. Without further ado, welcome world. I feel like the antics are already starting. I'm your host, Tifani Sage, and welcome to another episode of It's All Necessary. This is a space where we're all reminded that every life experience that we go through, whether it's big or small, it means something. It really does. And it prepares us for the next life experience that we're going to go through. And I'm really excited about this guest. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave your comments in the feedback section because I want to hear from you. Alrighty guys, it's the morning and I want to welcome a very special guest of mine, Karin Nicole! Get up! You saw my wings.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
You excited?
Very excited. So let me get into this. So Karin Nicole is hailing from Queens, New York City stands up. Karin is the founder and CEO of the enterprise Umē.
Yes.
I got that right?
Yes.
And came from the world of theater arts and wrote and co-directed and starred in her own web series in 2016. Boss. I love it. How are you doing, Karin?
I'm good. I'm just like, here present. And
Yeah.
It's my first podcast, so yeah, I've never.
You're about to blow. I wish you said that after this, because then we will all be like, no, this is your first.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think this is a good first one though.
That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad you could be my first podcast interview.
And thank you so much for wanting to be on this show and just from how we've connected, just so transparent and just a real one.
Yeah.
A real one. I'm super excited. Let's jump into childhood. I feel like this whole interview is going to be very organic and just all over the place, but there's going to be order.
Okay.
Childhood days. What would you say is your fondest memory from your childhood, and why does that still resonate with you to this day?
My fondest memory. I had a very standard, pretty average childhood.
Okay.
I didn't, experience anything super detrimental to my life or, I was raised in Queens and I think I just had a pretty standard. I will say, being raised in Queens, we had people who have this idea of New York City. They think that we all live in apartment buildings, and a lot of people do, which is nothing wrong with that. But in Queens specifically, it was more suburban life, and so we had a pool in the backyard. We had a front yard of our home, and it was just a nice house. My birthday's in July in the summer, and I would just always
Summer baby.
I always had a pool party for my birthday. So I think that would be my fondest memories, just every year having a pool party.
I love that.
From elementary school up until I think middle school or high school. Yeah, we had a pool, and I had a pool party.
Was that party kind of that's the talk of the town, or it's kind of a neighborhood thing, everyone who know, if you know,
No, I don't think so. I think because most of my friends were from school, so and not everyone lived in my neighborhood. But that was pretty standard for me. Just have a pool party every year.
And it made you feel, obviously it was for your birthday, but you felt celebrated and people showing up, and it's all of this for me.
No, literally that was always my reaction, even from just 7. I remember my 7th birthday or maybe my 8th birthday party. And, when everyone comes around to, sing happy birthday with the cake and everything, the candles. And I just remember, we all had just got out of the pool. I had my towel over me. I'm 8.
Yeah.
And everyone's singing happy birthday to you, right? And I just start bawling.
Oh my God.
And they're like, what's wrong? Why are you crying? And I'm crying because I'm overwhelmed with just so much like, wow, you guys love me.
Yeah. Oh my God. Correct.
And then I ran in the house and my towel was like trailing behind me.
A cape.
Very much giving a cape because I was embarrassed then.
Yeah.
And my dad comes in the house. He's like, you better get your ass back.
Oh shoot.
You better get your ass back outside.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm embarrassed. But yeah, so birthdays are very emotional for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
How would your parents describe you as a child?
Good. She's a good kid. Quiet, maybe. Good, quiet, sensitive.
Were you good because that's who you were intrinsically, or it's like, I don't want to be too loud because I don't want to get in trouble?
I think intrinsically I was a good kid, but also I was like afraid of my mom.
Oh, okay.
Well, not like
she was a disciplinarian.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. Like, my mom definitely, was, I don't think she was strict, but she just instilled that respect. And,
and that she had that presence kind of. Okay.
Yes. Like, so I'll say that, yeah. But I was a good kid.
And with that, do you feel in your adulthood that it's like, I want to act out a little bit? Or you still feel like, no, this is me, I'm poised. I feel that's like the adult version, I'm poised. The child version is like, oh, very well behaved. But do you feel like how did that translate into your adulthood with that kind of, you know?
I think it took me a while to find my voice.
Oh.
It took me a while to find my voice, and I'm still in the process of finding it. And
which it always blows my mind because I'm like, Karin, you got it. But I
appreciate
understand
that. Yes, I appreciate that. But on the inside, sometimes I do feel like, that you can freely express your thoughts. You can freely, explain yourself and just be who it is that you want to be. And sometimes the people who knew you before, they're not used to that.
That's a big one.
Yeah, so I think, being a kid, being a child, I was, quiet and just a good kid. But, as you get older, like, you have different thoughts, you have different opinions, and sometimes they go against, what you've been taught.
Yeah.
Finding my voice now, and I can say it's fun. It's good. I like, there's a part of everyone, I think, where you want to get messy, you want to get maybe wild, you want to you just want to get really messy, and you don't want to be perfect, and you don't want to be good, but you're not necessarily trying to be bad either.
Sorry. This brings me back to a conversation one time when, no shade to whatever, but we'll say rapper A and rapper B. You were like saying, in other words, ain't nobody always want to listen to rapper B because it's like, I just want to let loose. Remember that conversation?
Yeah. Actually, you just want to let loose sometimes.
Yeah.
You just want to get messy and just, mess some shit up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's all valid. It's all necessary, right?
It is.
As a child, what captivated your attention as far as hobbies or just thoughts?
I would say TV. I definitely was a Nick kid, Nickelodeon.
Okay. I was Disney.
I was a Disney kid too, but from like really young, Nickelodeon, like just watching Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Doug,
Diary. I was him writing in my diary.
Yes. As told by Ginger.
Did she have a diary?
I'm sure they all had a diary.
Because I feel like there was something about her that was very like, you could we could hear her thoughts or something.
I think she did have a diary.
Okay.
But TV, and then Disney Channel, but then also UPN 9. Do you remember UPN 9? But they had all the black shows on, so it was like Half and Half, All of Us.
One-on-one?
One-on-one. Okay. Was it Girlfriends? Yeah, but it was like all the black shows, they would come on at a specific time. And then watching Disney and watching That's So Raven. I would say just like TV and the world of like television just really captivated me, and it made me want to be an actress.
Really?
Yeah. I think seeing Raven Simone on That's So Raven.
Shout out Raven!
That's So Raven was like, I think the driving force with me wanting to act. Yeah.
I love that. And what was it that, like, I guess drew you in where it's like, I think I want to do that?
She was a black girl on a hit TV show on Disney Channel, which, you know, everyone was watching, and she was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I think Raven Simone is like an underrated comedic actress. Like,
even you just saying that comedic, I was like, oh shoot, that is true.
She's hilarious. The way she uses her body in comedy, her voice, like she uses her whole being in comedy, and seeing, you know, a young black woman, you know, just being the star of the show like, in that way. I was like, I could do that too.
You know what's funny? I too watched that, and I feel at that young age, I didn't realize like, oh my gosh, that's a black girl doing that. I just thought, I was like, oh, that's not, okay. I felt like, oh, I like what she's doing, but it was like, I like that black girl that da-da-da-da. So it's funny how like, we can all be at the same age watching something and it hits people differently.
Yeah, you know, because, I mean, you just see yourself in her. Like, obviously, like, I can't see myself in a white girl, but I'm gonna watch it.
You see yourself as like with orange hair and a little mole rat. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Kim Possible. I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Just seeing someone who looks like me do things is like, oh wait, yeah, I could totally do that. Like, it just clicks for you. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to, let's get serious with the business first, and then we'll go into the fun stuff.
Okay.
Umē. When did you, I guess, have that idea of like, I want to do this?
Yeah. So I just, from like a young age, I love scents. Like, I love smelling things. And it, whether that be fragrance, whether that be food, anything, I'm going to put it to my nose.
Yeah.
I'm going to sniff it. You know, just going to the store with my mom, like, she would let me roam free in the store. I don't know if people do that.
Like a grocery store, or just like
any store. Like, I would just leave her and just go roam the store. Like,
and I'm sorry to pivot from that, but how did that make you feel? Like, you had freedom and you could be, because again, this is the parent that's like rigid, but it's like, but then she lets you just like go.
No, she wasn't strict, but she was just very much she don't play. Like, she didn't play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But yeah, going into a store, my mom, she would just I would just walk away from her and just like roam the store. And then I always remember the store is huge, and just intuitively finding her. Like, when I'm just going to look for her.
I have a very scary memory of that. So back when I was living in England, super young, on base, there was like, we walked into the store and there's some Snow White or some Disney movie was on, and so I wanted to go watch it. And then there's a lot of kids there too. So we're there sitting with our legs folded watching it, and then the film was over, and I didn't know what to do to like get my mom. So I walked to, I guess, like the front, and I think like that store had like a microphone of some sort. And so I told them, like, you know, I don't know where my mommy is, and I don't know how my mom found me, but it's just like, it's funny how, I mean, I think granted I was way younger than you were when you were walking away, but again, it's like same kind of thing where it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave you here, you go do your thing, and then I'm just like, oh.
No, me, I would walk away myself, and you would probably find me like just in like the beauty aisle or the beauty section, just like smelling all the shampoos and the conditioners and the body butters and the lotion. Like, I always just loved scents and smelling things, and I would always remember my mom would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go get some stuff, and she's gonna get lotion. I'd be like, can you get the smelly good lotion?
Wow.
I would call it smelly good lotion.
Really?
Yeah. And then, like, I love sniffing food and like onions and just like
onions.
Yeah, I love, like, my family would call me in the kitchen when they were chopping up onions to come and smell the onion, because I just loved smelling onions. So that's kind of like how...
Learned something new today.
Yeah, that's how I got my start, you know, in the world of fragrance. And I was working in various startups when I got to Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I left New York, came to Los Angeles, worked in various startups, and, you know, anyone who's worked at a startup, you know that it's all hands on deck. Everyone's doing a bit of everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there's no clear line of demarcation of like you do this, you do this. It's really just get the job done, you know. And so from working in startups, I was able to really just see how you get a business from, you know, the ground up. And it's really messy, it's really challenging, it's like frustrating a lot. But I think having that background and that knowledge it really is helping me with my startup, you know. So I kind of combined the two, like what's something that I was always into? Oh, yeah, scents. I love fragrances. I love smelling good. You know what I mean?
Did you have, so when you were working at these startups, did you already know what you wanted to do? Or it's like, I'm just doing this to pay my bills. And in that, it's like, I should create my own business.
Yeah, it was paying my bills.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I have to live. But within that, I was like, you know, I want to start something of my own. And you kind of have to think like, okay, so what is it that I really do want to throw myself into? And I remember reading something, and I'm gonna butcher the quote, but it was like, just think back to your childhood and what is it that you loved doing? And I was like, oh yeah, I love perfumes. Like I love fragrances, and like I was within these startups. I was known as like, you know, the one who always smelled good. Like people were like, I knew you were here. I smelled your perfume.
I love that.
And that's like the best compliment to me. Like
Same.
better than saying you look great. I like when people say you smell so good.
Yeah.
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
Like I love it's such a good feeling. So I started getting into working, you know, in startups, such an intimate setting. You can't have a really strong perfume or a strong fragrance. You kind of have to
I never
find
thought about that.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people can't handle.
They can handle me.
They can handle me, but they can't handle a lot of scents, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I really had to try to strike that balance of finding something that was I liked, but also something that was mindful of like everyone in, you know, in the environment. So, I found oil-based scents, which are great because they just stick closer to the skin. They stick closer to you.
I've always heard that, and it's like I want to. Maybe we should do that. Like go somewhere in oil shop or something.
Oh yeah, there's so many in like downtown LA.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's why I like oil-based scents is because they do have a lot of benefits, but also because they stay closer to the skin, it just makes for better like wearing it in close settings and things like that. So that kind of, you know,
wow,
really.
And when did you start the business?
2020.
Wow. Okay.
2020. This was it during the pandemic or maybe a little bit before everything shut down? I think it was a little bit before everything kind of went to like, whoa, what's happening right now? But I was just thinking of, you know, starting my own business. And my friend Zero, he
shout out
to Zero. He really was there with me from the beginning and just kind of helping me flesh out the idea. And that is so important. It's having someone who really believes in anything that you want to do. Someone who believes in who believes in your vision. And if it wasn't for him, you know, I feel like I don't think I would have. Wow. I think I would have still like tried and you know to do this, but it's always nice to have someone outside of you validate. Yes. You know what you're doing and your vision and things like that. So, yeah, he was really pivotal in the beginning, just helping me.
I love that. 1 second. I feel like I'm oily. Okay. Yes. What has the process of the business building taught you about yourself? I really want to say what has Umē taught you about yourself, but it's a journey, so.
It's the journey.
The journey.
It really is. What?
Life.
So, this whole process really just taught me resilience. Ooh. Like, keep going, keep pushing.
Okay.
Also, I can really do anything that I want.
Yeah. You really can.
I really can.
Yeah.
You know, and there's this quote from Kanye West, and he goes, not only can I do anything that I want. I can do everything that I want. And it's so true. Like there really is no limit to what you can do or who you can be.
Yeah.
And that has been fun for me, is stepping into that power of realizing that, you know, I really do create the path. I really do create this journey or whatever it is. Like, I'm the one in the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I have my faith and things like that, and I lean on that. But really, I'm kind of driving this thing. You know, I'm spearheading it, and it's made me realize that, you know, fully step into that, own it, really own it, and yeah, I like that part of it.
Why are you passionate about Umē?
I'm passionate about Umē because, first off, it's something that I am building. You know, this is literally was conceived for me. Yeah. And I'm giving birth to it every single day. Your baby. It's my baby, you know, and that part is so cool. Like, that is the process. A lot of times people get into things because they want the end result. And I've done that a lot. I want the end result. I just want to get to the end.
Like what? What were those things?
Oh, man. What were those things? I would say maybe the web series. Even though that was fun, and I really did learn a lot, and I wanted to do it. Yeah. I think I was just so focused on getting to the end because I wanted to get something out of it. Like, I was looking forward to getting something from this. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna, you know, I'm gonna get an agent from this and blah, because I was trying so hard to get an agent. Yeah. And I was trying so hard to, you know, just get roles and get things. Yeah. And I was like, well, fine. If no one's going to give me a role, then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to prove that I deserve. So yeah, but with Umē, it's very much, I really do enjoy the process. I enjoy building out this and fleshing it out and adding to it and taking away and really just like being in the darkness with it and building it, you know, from where I stand. That part is fun to me.
This sounds like fulfillment. And imagine when the extras are going to come once. And is it out in the world now?
No.
Okay.
We are still very much in the beginning stages. Okay. Yeah.
When it is, everything that comes after it is going to, I feel like it's going to be overwhelming in a good way. Like, oh my God, like people, you know, you selling out and all the other stuff that you want, an agent. And it's just like, wow. So I'm definitely going to remember that. Do everything, like, enjoy the process, because that's where, like, the true, like, the satisfaction, I guess, comes from.
But in order to enjoy the process, what I realized is you have to enjoy what it is you're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
that part.
If you're doing something because you think it'll get you a quick buck, you're not going to enjoy the process. Yeah. But I really do like fragrances. I really do like scents, and it makes me excited. It makes me really excited.
I love that. Yeah. Great question. How, with the business being so young as it is, how are you balancing your work-life balance, if there is any?
I mean, it's definitely, that's the challenge, right? Is making time. But for me, wherever I can make time, I do it. You know what I mean? Like, I really, the weekends, you know, the weekends are prime time for me to work on it. Even like just on my downtime, you know, just really working on it. And sometimes you gotta take a day off or two. Yeah. Take a week off. You need those vacation days.
True. I don't know why it's like, that is hitting me like, oh my gosh, I can step away from my work. But I will say this, knowing myself, why I don't even like resort to that thinking is because I know if I don't, in my head, if I don't do, nothing gets done. So it's that. Yeah. But I mean,
if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. And so you would have to take, I did have to take those days off to really be like, I want to get this done. I want to do this. Yeah. I don't want to be at this 9 to 5. This is not my career. This is not where I see myself being. So if I have unlimited vacation days, I'm going to take them
Yeah.
to work on my own stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people do that. I feel like,
And if you ain't, you need to start.
I mean, why not?
Right. When was there a moment, and this can be based on Umē or just in life general, when have you felt like you ever wanted to quit? Like, or have you ever felt like that?
Of course.
And then it's like, quit and do what though?
Well, I did quit acting, clearly.
Okay. I mean, you're still alive, so that can still happen, unless you no longer have the passion.
That's true. I don't have the passion for it. And I realized I didn't have the passion for it when I came to LA, and I seen like all my friends who are actors, like they were like doing the whole thing, like they were submitting their online tapes and their video auditions and really like doing the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I really like this anymore. But I always say, if someone were to offer me a role and I read the script and I really did like the role or I really did like the director, I would do it. Because I'm good, but like I'm not passionate about it. But if someone were like, hey, I really want you to do this, and I feel like it really did line up and it works, I'll be like, okay.
Do you think it's because it's that it would feel as if like, oh, this is coming to me and this is for me, versus you just pitching yourself out there, and it's like, I'm just selling myself, and no one wants me. Because I know the rejection thing can be hard.
Yeah, the rejection can be really hard. And that's literally what acting is. It's like you just are, if you're going to go that route, you're just getting rejected over and over and over again. And if that's not for you, then that's not for you. But I find that people who, like the actors or actresses who have these really big breakout roles anyway, it is about like just a connect that they had. Like, oh, my friend was like, can you do this for me? Can you read for this? Why don't you just be in it? Like usually that's how it happens. And then the movie goes on to be a big hit or whatever. But if someone were like, hey, I really think you'd be perfect for this, and if I really did feel like it aligned with me, I would do it. So I'll never say never.
I like that. Never say never. Pudding. Let's see. Let's go into top 2. What are the top 2 books, albums, or films that have resonated with you?
Well, I love music, so I could do music for sure. I was telling you D'Angelo is like my favorite artist ever, and then Janet Jackson is a close number 2. But D'Angelo's album, obviously, all of his albums really. I love his music. I love him as an artist. Like, I love his voice. He plays the instruments on his albums. I just love the vibe, the soul of it. Like, I really like getting down to the soul of it and feeling it in my bones.
I'm gonna listen to him after this.
You have to.
Wait, who put you on to him? Or did you just discover it on your...
He was pretty popular, but I just really just like him. I really like him. I like his music. I like his artistry. And then Janet Jackson is my girl. I love her. I see myself in her so much. I don't know if that's weird, but I love her. I love her. The Velvet Rope, obviously, is a classic. All For You is such a good album. Obviously, the Janet album is great too. And then I like her newer stuff as well. What's the last album she just put out?
I forget, but I remember maybe it's a different one, but I remember it's like a black kind of.
And she has like curly hair.
Yeah.
That one, I love that album too. So I really like music. Music is what pushes me. Like I could just put on a good song and it'll teleport me anywhere, and my imagination just goes wild. And that's really, I think that's really what drives me. It's like
the Runaway music video did that for me. Video when just like the nose ring thing, and then like their clothes flying. I was like, I had like that rave moment where it's like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. Or just not even that, like sing and be in a music video, but be free. That's what I got from it, like being free. Yeah.
Music videos, they're just another portal, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. And I like listening to music that I don't know what they're saying either. So
why?
Things in other languages, like obviously It's so funny. I love this Brazilian song. He's singing in Portuguese.
Okay.
And it's called Lumina. And I've been listening to it for like maybe a year or so. I don't know what he's saying. I finally decided to look up the lyrics. And they were beautiful. I was like, music really just taps into more than, it taps into just something else. It's vibrational, obviously, right? And so even though I didn't know what the hell he was saying, there was just something that I was like, this is good. I like this. This speaks to me. And then when I looked at the lyrics, I was like, I see why it spoke to me.
Wow.
So I don't even need to know the lyrics.
For the record, Karin is the queen of playlists. Remember that soiree you hosted?
Yeah.
I remember I was just like, I feel like I was in a trance. Like, this is so good. This was amazing.
Yes. I love to make playlists because a playlist will tie in the mood that I want for everyone to experience. Yeah. And then I'll send you guys the playlist after everything's all said.
Well, put me on the list because I want those vibes. Mm-hmm. What would you say are your favorite 2 mental health practices?
Well, recently I've been getting into like really meditating. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I'm doing it the correct way. I don't know if there is a correct way.
I don't think there
isn't, right? Yeah. Okay. But like just making sure that I'm still with myself and present, because I have this thing where if I'm doing any day-to-day activity, I need something playing. I need either a podcast, I need music playing. I just don't like to be with my thoughts.
Okay, why?
Because I just want to be distracted.
Okay.
Especially when I'm doing like mundane tasks. Like
yeah.
Washing dishes or cleaning or something. Yeah. I just want to hear something. And I realized that I was constantly doing that, like with everything. I would get up, what's the new podcast? Put on some music. I'm going for a walk. Let me put on a podcast. And it's like, how are you even in the world?
Shit. Because
like, where are you? I'm
plugged in.
You're plugged in. Yeah, I'm listening to something. I'm so like, my focus is so like somewhere else. And so recently I've just been making sure that like in the morning especially, I just make that time to be with myself. No music, no nothing. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there in silence.
And how has that been for you?
It's been really good.
Was the beginning kind of like, oh no, all these thoughts in my head?
Yeah, because you feel like, I don't think I'm doing it right. You feel like those thoughts come is this right? Am I doing it right? I feel a little weird, you know what I mean? But I found what works for me, and what works for me
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm all about self-help and like the self, like this
what works for me. Myself.
Yes.
Right, yeah. And what works for myself is really, so what I do is like I close my eyes. And
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I close my eyes and I remind myself without words, without speaking out loud, but just in my head, like this is the only moment that matters. Oh. This is the only moment that matters. There's no past. There's no future. I'm just here. It's just me right here, right now. Like, and this, I'm saying this all in my head, you know.
Let me say, this is so powerful because I just realized, not just in this moment, but I've realized, say, the past month or two, that when I start thinking back, it's like I'm compiling all that I've ever been through, all things that I thought was a loss, and that feels heavy. But a while ago when you said like this is the only moment that matters, it feels so free.
Yeah, it is the most freeing you could ever feel, because the outside at that point doesn't matter. Nothing literally matters but you right here, right now, in this moment. And like you said, it is freeing. And from there, you can create what it is that you want to create. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like once you get into that mode, because what I find is that once the good thoughts start flowing, they just keep flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing.
Momentum.
It's the momentum is there. And it's the same thing with negative thoughts. Like you can have one negative thought and then next thing you know, you spiral.
Yeah.
But you can also do it the other way. You know what I mean? Like the one who's creating the negativity and the negative thoughts, also the one who can create, you know what I mean? So it's like you are the problem and you are the solution, and it's just like, which way do you want to go? So I find that has been just really helpful for me.
I love that. what are 2 pieces of advice that has been sitting with you? Whether you agree with it or it's like, okay, that was advice given and I'll see how I feel about that.
Pieces of advice.
We don't take advice over here. So.
I was gonna no, and that may sound a little weird, but like, I don't like taking advice.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I like listening to myself.
So
I will
advice?
Listen.
What advice have you, like, I guess, discovered within yourself? Like, you know what? I'm gonna take, like, I guess, like, not like a life motto, but.
So, I would say, just try. Just try.
Just try.
Because there's a lot of things where you could be like, you start reasoning with yourself, like, maybe I shouldn't do it, but just try. I will always try everything once. Just go back. That's the piece of advice that I have taken from my mom.
Okay.
And it's something that I really do implement in my life right now. She always says, because even though my mom is a no bullshit, I don't play that kind of person. Yeah. She was always willing to try everything once, and she always said that to me. Just try everything once. If you don't like it, now you know.
And let me
so
say
simple,
this,
but
it's so simple, and I feel many feel hesitant to do that because of the repercussions of other people's judgment, whatever that may look like. You want to go date someone who doesn't look like you're supposed to be with them, or wearing an outfit that may look a little too revealing or too conservative, and you don't want people's judgment and whatever, but it's like, just try it.
And that's going to happen. That you're going to be...
Or even food for religious reasons, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And that was the thing that my mom was always like driving home, was like food with foods. Growing up in New York and Queens specifically, which is the most diverse borough.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the most diverse borough, and so I was around all different cultures, religions, just foods and whatever it is. And my mom always stressed, like, just try it. If you don't like it, then just move on to the next thing, and now you know. And from that, I implemented that just throughout life, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna just try it. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna try it.
I love that. Let's move on to the fun section. What are you OCD about?
First off, I'm gonna say this whole thing has been fun. What am I OCD about? Very cleanliness. Yeah.
Same. I'm a germaphobe. I don't know
I'm
if
a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Listen, I've never been diagnosed. I'm not trying to diagnose myself, but I am like. Please wash your hands when you use the bathroom, and it's mind-boggling that there are people that don't wash their hands after they use the bathroom. That would really piss me off. Like, I used to have a roommate.
Real quick.
I used to have a roommate that would never wash their hands.
How did you catch them not washing their hands though?
Because
Frozen.
Okay, because you just be like, they go in the bathroom, they use it, flush the toilet, and then the door just opens right away. I was like,
water.
The toilet flush, the door opens right away. You didn't wash your hands.
And did you ever confront them?
Yes,
What did they say?
They'll do better. But I was like, why don't you do that?
Why is that even a thing?
Why is that even like a thought? Like, what? Like, what? Wash your hands. You just touched yourself. Yeah, cleanliness is like what I'm OCD about, I would say. Just, yeah.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting that one. Do you like to fall asleep with, I don't want to assume because of what you said earlier, but do you like to fall asleep with silence, or you like to have TV on?
So I cannot fall asleep with the TV on. I mean, if the TV is on, the volume has to be so low,
very low,
or off, like no volume, mute.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Like, I'm gonna wake up.
Is that turn the fucking music? Not music. Turn
it off. Turn it down.
Wait. Okay. Well, for me, I can fall asleep if I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
I don't like that word. If I'm tired, I can fall asleep, but I am going to wake up and see that thing is on and then turn it off.
Yeah.
Do you do that as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll turn it off. But like I said, if it's already muted, like whatever. But I do like silence. To fall asleep though, I will listen to. Sometimes I do listen to like maybe a good podcast.
I love that you're so into podcasts, though, but
I love
after this,
podcasts.
I want to hear what you're listening to. I want to
For sure.
tap in.
I'll let you know. But yeah, I'll listen to like maybe a good maybe something good on YouTube that I'm like, into. Like I really like listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza or Neville Goddard or Edward Art Supply. I'm putting you guys on if you don't know about these people, but those are good channels to like fall asleep and listen to. Just like getting that good information in.
I love that. I definitely think, call me whatever the word is, woo-woo or whatever, but I think falling asleep to like intentional things is very powerful.
Of course.
And I think that's why I'm very against intentionally falling asleep to something on the screen, because God knows what's showing, and that's going to be playing with my mind. And it's been many times God has given me like signs and stuff like that through my dreams, and it's like I don't want to be dreaming of, I don't know, Edward Scissorhands or whatever, and then it's like, wait, what is this? Is this a dream or is it, whatever?
You'll probably have a nightmare or two or three, wake up in a cold sweat. But also it just helps like for the next day, like you fall asleep in a positive mood, you probably don't wake up on the same note. So
that part.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Having a routine at night is important too. So making sure that like you do your shower, whatever it is you do at night, you wash your face, but making sure you're actually like getting in bed and being intentional about it. And if you want to put on something good, it does start, your day starts off from when you fall asleep.
You're giving me very spa vibes right now.
I love a spa.
I like that. I think because like we were talking about, like you said, the smelly good lotion and like fragrance.
I like ritual. Like when I'm taking my makeup off, like it's a whole process. It's like my time. When I'm putting my makeup on, it's a whole process. It's my time.
I love that.
Yeah. So I like little things that get me in the mood or whatever. Yeah.
I actually forget all of the time to take my makeup off. Sorry. Using makeup remover. Like I'll just jump in the shower and start exfoliating and all that stuff, come out, put the creams and the butters. But I do, when I come out of the shower, I'm like, oh, I missed this back. And it's like, how do you do that? But it's like, girl, you're supposed to be,
I mean, you could do your routine in the shower too. Like, it's no specific way. I do my routine outside the shower though.
But. And your face looks flawless.
Thank you.
It really does. Show the camera.
I'm a little awkward. I don't know.
What is one thing you want to let go of this year?
Fear.
Ooh.
I just want to walk by faith.
I love.
I need to completely 100% just fully immersed in that. Like I just want to be in that, and that means obviously faith. Having faith means no fear, right? And that means obviously dropping what everything looks like on the outside. Yeah. Because everything on the outside could be telling you one thing, but just completely I don't care what the outside noise is. I know what it is inside, and what it is inside is more real than what it is outside, because your inner world honestly does affect your outer world. So.
I could fall back on this backless chair right now. That is so good.
It's true though. I mean, it's fact.
Wow. When you just said simply just walk by faith, that I saw in my mind's eye, like walking on to the swimming diving board.
Oh, yeah.
Thing, and just not giving a crap what it looks like down there, what it feels like up here, just walk.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because our reality is so, like, it, obviously, like, I'm not saying be in the clouds, but maybe you should be in the cloud. Maybe you
Welcome
should
to
be.
the clouds, guys. I will say I live in the clouds intentionally. And when you said about your podcast thing, like popping it in every time, and you're like, girl, what world do you live in? I was like, ooh, that's like me with not knowing current events.
Well, no, I will say this. With the podcast and everything, what I meant with that is like, I'm not in my world. I'm listening to someone else's world.
Oh,
so
got you.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say that. Having podcasts or whatever it is, an interview on YouTube, you're in some other world, but you're not here in your world. And being present in your world is way more important.
I will add though, I feel when you are tapping into other worlds, you're taking something from it and you're putting it into your world. But if you're never putting any time into your own world, then it's like all these good gems.
I was just
what,
distracted.
Yeah.
Really just being distracted for the sake of being distracted. Yeah.
And also too, this is super random, but isn't that crazy? Like say 5 years ago, like let's just say 5 years ago, you were given a glimpse of this shot right now. And you're like, who's that girl in the leather jacket? And I would be like, who's this girl in the Yankee like fitted? But it's crazy how life in any moment can change, like little by little.
Yeah,
life can change. That's very unrelated, but I just had that thing.
I will say the girl. What was it you said? 5 years? What?
5 years ago. Oh, sorry. So if 5 years ago, if someone showed you a picture of me in this whole environment, and you're like, oh, don't know who that is, whatever, and then it's like 5 years later, boom, here we are in this moment, and it's like, oh, I know who you are. That's my girl Tiff. And
of course, like I feel like whatever it is that you imagine yourself to be, that's exactly who you'll be. Wow. And maybe you imagined this 5 years ago, and now it's literally blossomed into your reality. That's what I would say. Yeah.
With that, because I had my brother on the other night, and he was like, giving me my flowers, and he's like, you really do co-create with the universe and stuff. And I'm like, brother, but it's really weird. I don't know. I want to make sure I'm phrasing this correctly. Yeah. But like when you said a while ago, whatever you want to do, you can do it. I've been wanting to do a podcast and finally doing it because of, the alignment, having a place to record and stuff. But I feel like are some people stopped by doing it themselves because they feel like it's not validated enough? Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe they needed someone to be like, listen, I'll buy the equipment, I'll buy this and that, and then you can start whatever it is, whether it be a podcast or acting, like, oh, I'm a director, you know what I mean? So I think sometimes I really do feel most times life is very simple. It's like, what do you want to do? What are you craving? What are you desiring? What do you feel you deserve? But then it's the getting it, like, oh, I have to create it to get it. That doesn't feel good. I'd rather it just be brought to me. It's like cooking your own food versus having your food made for you and delivered.
Yeah. But I think what I will say is that you are always creating at every single moment. You are creating the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. That's just really how it works. And so I do get what you mean about sometimes people really do feel like they should be handed something. But I don't know, like I don't come from that place with things. Like I always come from a place of like, if I can see it in my mind, then obviously it's true. Like I can do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just give myself that, and but I do get what you mean about like, people are like, well, how am I going to do it? Like, I don't worry about the how necessarily. I just focus on like what is happening in this very moment. Like right now, going back to like the founder's story, in the beginning, founders are in the process of, fundraising for their company or whatever it is. And that's like a really important stage or step in the founder's journey. But some people would use that as the opportunity to say, well, I can't move forward because I don't have funding. And that's really not how you create. You don't create from a place of lack. You create from a place of, I already have this right now.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that I want is real for me right now, in my mind, in my fantasy, whatever. And so I'm going to create from that place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how my process is. It's like, even though I may be in the fundraising process and I don't have X, Y, and Z, that doesn't mean that my journey stops.
Right. Right.
There's still things that I could be doing. I'm here. I feel like what really helps is just assuming that you've arrived already. and working from that place, working from that point. You know, so it's like, what would you do if you were from that point? What would you do if you already were that, the thing that you want, right? What is it that you would do? What is it that you would feel? Who is it that you would be? And literally move into that world. And like I said, you create everything. Everything is creating moment by moment. So
piggybacking off of the process, someone who aspires to be where you are right now in your business stage, how does one even start with finding funding? Aside from like the GoFundMe's or whatever, but like, you know, investors. Like,
I would say this is why I love the day and age that we are in right now. Like, I feel like, yes, there's a lot of really ugly stuff that's happening in the world, but also I do make it a point to say and to realize that it's such a good time to be alive as well. You know what I mean? Like, right now is such a good time to be an entrepreneur. Right now is such a good time to be a person of color trying to be an entrepreneur. Like, you can literally just, everything is at your fingertips. The internet is amazing. I love the internet. I love technology. So what I will say is that for me, because I didn't go to school for any of this, I didn't go to business school, everything has been from really just searching for information.
Yeah.
And I have the internet, so you can do that, you know? And so that's how I've done it. Everything that I've learned has been through the internet. YouTube, Google, Reddit, you know, just seeking out that information and using it and storing it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go to school for this. It's great if you do want to, but there's just such a wealth of information just really right in front of you. Yeah. And then I will also say having people around you that do the same things too is important, just to get you into that spirit. Like, I have a lot of people who are entrepreneurs in my life, and so that drives me as well. But to go back to finding investors and things like that, utilize the internet. Also, try to get around like other founders too, you know, who are in the same process as you. And networking, like, I used to hate networking.
Really?
Because I used to really hate networking, but it is really important because a lot of times it's who you know. But just making connections are super important. But also, like I said, do your research, make sure you're networking or make sure you're around like-minded individuals.
And people who want to share and help, because I feel like I've, you know, with the context that I have, it's like, oh, it's great that I know that person knows of me, but then when I need a favor, and not like, oh, do something for free, when I need like, hey, can you give me tips on da-da-da, because I know you specialize in that, and then when people are like, oh, I'm not sharing this with you, it's like,
that's
why
weird.
are we even, you know, why are we doing this fake acquaintance or friendship thing? You know what I mean?
And then being able to share too, you know, it's a give and take. So have something to share as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That part. Let's go into this section, because I realized I totally almost forgot about it. What do you love most about yourself?
I will say this. I love that I'm very courageous. And courage, I know I said I wanted to, you know, move out of fear and really just walk in faith, and that is still very much valid and true. But I think having courage doesn't mean no fear. I will say that I'm very courageous, and like I was saying, having courage or being brave doesn't mean not being fearful. It means just despite
exactly
the fear. You know what I mean? Do it still. I'm moving into this phase now where I'm gonna just walk in faith, but who I am right now in this moment and who I have been in, you know, previously has been just someone who's gonna do the scary thing even though it's scary.
Yeah.
I love that about myself. I really like that. I really like that I like to think bigger. Yes. I do, you know, I like to just think bigger. Like,
and it's free. It's free.
It's free.
It's free. I think sometimes some people are afraid to think big because there is that,
Yeah.
oh, but it's not going to happen, or
Default that
disappointment
reasoning.
setting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, forget that last part. Think big. Think big. Because imagine if we're now being charged for, like, the level of our thinking, we get charged, 25 cents, $1. Oh, that's $10 worth of thought, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, if you have a vision for yourself of who you want to be, what you want to achieve, you obviously have to think bigger than your circumstances.
Exactly.
You have to think bigger than where you are.
That's a pull-up Alexa.
Hey.
That was such a gem. Please say that again.
If you have a vision for yourself, for your life, who you want to be, where you want to go, you obviously have to think bigger than your circumstances.
Yeah.
You have to think bigger than your present moment. You just have to.
Yeah.
But also walking in that, you know what I mean? Not just thinking about it, but really walking in that.
action.
And
What
taking,
that action do?
Yes. So I will say that. I love that about myself.
I love that. I saw a quote, a billboard the other day where it said, "Think big and act big." And I'm like, that's it.
Because when
Follow
you have
up.
if you're thinking bigger, you're obviously having new thoughts and new, like you're having a new kind of idea or a new vision, right? And with that new thought and with that new vision comes new actions. You know what I mean? Like, so you're thinking bigger and you're making different choices, and those different choices bring you different experiences, and those different you know what I mean? So it's like like I said, you're always creating
domino
something.
effect, yeah.
It is a domino effect, yeah.
When are you most yourself and when are you not most yourself?
I'm most myself in the privacy of my own home, by myself.
When you're not, you said?
No, I'm most myself.
Oh, okay, got you, okay.
Yeah, I'm most myself.
Yeah.
In the privacy of my own home, by myself. That's it. Like, I am just me.
In your zone.
I'm in my zone. So, I don't know if this falls into astrology or not, whatever it is, but like, I love being like home, like being in my cocoon or my shell or in my space, because I've created it to be this kind of...
I was going to ask, did you put time in like careful intentions of, I don't know, the feng shui of your home, or
you
just
how my home.
Oh yeah, it's very like...
You said something the other time. You said, I think you said something like Zen, or you said something, and I was like, yes,
it
that's
felt
exactly
very
what I was
like
trying
that,
to accomplish.
like bamboo-ish kind of, you know?
Yes. So spa.
See?
A lot of that.
You're exuding that.
Thank you.
And as you said, the inside of you is reflecting like...
Absolutely.
All of that.
100%. So yeah, being at home really is my refuge. It's where I can be myself, and if you're welcomed into my home, you know you are a special person, because I don't just invite anyone.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Please do not invite randoms to your home.
Random people just
Please
all
don't
of
that.
stepping in your home with their shoes on.
Hello.
See, I'm a shoes off at the door kind of girl.
Same.
So.
And non-washed hands.
Wash your hands after you use the bathroom.
Right.
But just like the right kind of people, you know, it's just space.
It's energy.
Yeah.
Like I think of people's energy as a fragrance, and do I want that lingering still in my place? It's either a yes or no. Who has had to be the most forgiving in your life because of you?
Can you word that a different way?
So, let me see. For example, or should I say,
I sounded like, can I have another vowel?
Right. Who or what? So I'll say for me, what has had to be the most forgiving in my life? One, my body. My body has had to be forgiving of me, because sometimes I'm just eating like I'm 12 years old, playing basketball all day. It's like, girl, you're not doing that. So, you know, and then even like my books. Like I have so many memoirs and novels that I've bought with good intentions to read it, and then it's like, it's either gathering dust or I've started first 2 chapters and I was like, whatever. And so my books have had to be like, don't worry, she's gonna come back to me.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
These are really, all of these have been great questions.
Thank you.
You know it's a good question when you're stumped. I would go like with what you said about like your body, you know, like obviously your body has been with you from time. And maybe I haven't treated it the best or, you know, been working out or, you know, really being just too sedentary and just kind of like not really fully present in it. Like I was saying, just always distracted.
Yeah.
I always kind of wanted to jump out of my skin. Like I used to feel like that a lot. And now it's more about being in my skin. Now it's more about being here and being, you know. So I would say like, yeah, like maybe my body has had to be forgiving to me. Yeah, it's a good question.
Well, girl, you're looking great.
Oh, thank you. I have to think about that one some more though, but
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. What would you love to tell your future self? And what do you feel your future self would like to tell you right now?
Here we go with these good questions.
I can start if you want some time.
Yeah, you go.
Great. I didn't even think about this myself, so let me think. My present self would like to tell my future self, girl, how you doing? Is it like, am I doing, or everything that I'm doing now, is it really gonna create a difference for you? And I hope you can, I know my future self can see the time and energy that I'm putting into like my day to day, but it's just like, just please see that I'm trying my best. And then I feel my future self is telling me, just take one foot in front of the other. You got this. It may look different from how you thought it was gonna look future-wise, but you're gonna be happy that you put the time and energy into yourself now.
That's good. That's really good. My present self to my future self, it would really just be like affirming them or her, them. Yeah, just affirming that person, rooting them on, cheering them on. You could do it. And then my future self to my present self to me now, definitely be just saying thank you. Thank you for taking those bold choices and those chances. Thank you for being you. Thank you for getting me here in this moment. Because if it wasn't for
that hit me,
you, I wouldn't be here. So yeah.
It starts with you and ends with you.
Always.
It's a wrap. Thanks, Karin.
Thank you.
This was such a great moment.
This was so fun.